Carter Starocci. That's the answer. I can't tell you guys, my damn phone, how many DMs and text messages I have. Who do you think that wrestled at the NCAAs will go the furthest in MMA? Who do you think is the most likely to be an MMA champion? I'm just answering the questions, Carter Starocci. Now, why I say that is he wants to do it. I don't have anything other than that. The days where if you could take a guy down, you therefore could beat him up in a fight, those days ended easily by 2002. Easily. And then we had not that long ago, 2015, 2016, we had a reminder of how helpful it can be to get on top by a guy named Khabib Nurmagomedov. But Khabib was not representing wrestling. But he did remind us that controlling where a fight goes is very helpful. So when I say Carter Starocci, it's not because of his front headlock or his double leg or even his gas tank or his grit. It's because he says he wants to do it. Did you guys hear what he said after the match? Now, Carter deserves and should be the biggest star in the sport. And even if that was negative, even if his reception when he came out was boos, but the boos were louder than the other guy's cheers, he should be the biggest star. He's willing to do it, for one. He wants it, for two, but three, he walks the walk. Every time he does an interview, he says something that's very off-brand, not only for the sport of wrestling, but for Penn State directly. And all he does is call guys out. All he does is say how good he is. He doesn't use profanity. He doesn't do yo mama sofa. He doesn't do any of this stuff. But he says he's going to be an Olympic champion. He says he's ready to do it now. They remind him you got to go through Dakin Burroughs just to get on the team. And he says, then I will. He remains undefeated. He's a three-time champion. He had a champion in his weight named Mekhi Lewis. He was making these crazy claims with an NCAA champion sitting there waiting for him. He got through him. And he says he wants to do it. And did you guys hear? This wasn't meant to be rhetorical. I'm asking you a little question. Did you hear what he said in his post-fight speech aired on ESPN? He said, I'm going to be an Olympic champion, and then I'm going to be an MMA champion. He then said, the current MMA champion in my weight class is a Division II wrestler, which where I come from means he's a beginner. That's heat. That's heat. People just didn't hear it. And the ones that didn't know what he meant. Now, he was referencing Kamaru Usman. So you that did get it also understand that Kamaru wasn't the champion and that Starocci misspoke a little bit. But for me, that adds to it, and I'm wondering if he knew. Did he know that Kamaru had lost? Did he know that Kamaru was the challenger? Did he know that Kamaru, from the time that Starocci did this and made the statement on ESPN, the very folks that are going to cover the title fight between Kamaru Usman and Leon, did he know Kamaru wasn't the champion? Because if he knew Kamaru wasn't the champion, but he was going to make the statement anyway, so that it looked as though he didn't know who the champion was, that's brilliant. That's not simple. That's not a simple sleight of tongue. When you're dating a girl, her ex-boyfriend is named Jack, and you ask her about him, and you call him John. As simple and condescending as that is, you have raised yourself. You have now demonstrated some level of power. Does Starocci, who's a three-time champion who performed on the worldwide leader, who's undefeated, who's seeded one, know accurately that Kamaru was the challenger, not the champion? It's a very interesting detail by me, and the crowd's not getting it. I've heard people apologize for him. Now, whether that was Penn State loyalists, and Penn State, they just don't say a lot out there. Penn State just has really, really good reputations. Their coach, everything's kind of internal. That's just, but he speaks out. And I've heard some Penn State loyalists speak it trying to cover for Starocci. You don't need to cover for Carter. He doesn't want cover. He knows what he's doing. He's looking for heat. They're not giving it to him. And I don't know why. It's a college kid who stuck his finger in Jordan Burroughs and Kyle Dake's chest. That has never happened, and that he should get some coverage, including if you don't think he can do it. I think that come out and tell the world and tell him and look forward to those matches. I mean, right, this is kind of the point. And as I look back at the weekend and yet all of these wonderful athletes, it's very hard to know if wrestling's going to get it right. Wrestling has something called an outstanding wrestler. Now, to us fellow wrestlers, that's wildly important. For you fight fans, think of fight of the night. The of the night bonus, everything's done. You're not proving it in there. It's a decision that gets made by people who have the power to control our lives. But it's very interesting. We will cut in to a press conference. We will cut in to SportsCenter to reveal the fighter of the night. Just think of it from that perspective. That's what outstanding wrestlers is. It's a really big deal. It's a decision. You can't prove it. You can't earn it. Someone's going to form that. And when they do an outstanding wrestler of the tournament, they always make a mistake of making it an outstanding wrestler in the tournament. So I'll give you an example. If you have an Olympic medal and you win the tournament, and nobody else has an Olympic medal, you will win outstanding wrestler. They do this every time. They make it outstanding wrestler in the tournament, but the award is supposed to go of. The correct answer was Vito Arujau. Not even, that's your outstanding wrestler. They got it right. Wouldn't you know they gave it to Vito Arujau? Now, I bring that up because this is a guy, and what's Vito going to do next? My partner, Ryan, who wrestled Arizona State, declared to me that that young man is going to win the Olympics. Maybe. Don't forget he did this NCAA work. Outstanding wrestler, shocked the world at 133 pounds. He's in between. Now, Vito wrestles freestyle all the time. His father's a world champion. Did 121 pounds. I understand that, but he just spent a year at 133. 133 is a hell of a gap from 121. And before you tell me it's only 10 pounds, that's 8.5% of your body weight when it's that size. This is massive. He's got to get down there. The Olympics in Paris that my partner Ryan references, 2024. It's very tough 2 years from now to make a weight class that's smaller than the one you could make today. There was a collegiate opportunity at 125 pounds, and that was further than Vito wanted to go. Now, I don't have any opinion here. I'm just sharing for you. Before we start giving out medals and declaring somebody the best, man, we got a lot of work to do. You don't know if Spencer Lee is going to come back. And that seems to be the one that the wrestling world is missing. The wrestling world seems to just think that he's going to be here in Paris. I mean, the U.S. Open is in 4 weeks. Is he going to be there? Let's start with that. So you got Spencer Lee, possibly. You got Nikki Freestyle out there. You know what Dayton Fix is going to do. And yes, we have a very live player in our outstanding wrestler and our national champion, Vito Arujau. But there's a lot to be done before we start handing out gold medals in 2024.